guess what we saw? The hat is a freebie from Jay.
Why do I only see the frustrating movies with you?
I don't know. You need to go to more regular, like, good movies with me. We're doing Mad Max.
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm taking you to Mad Max, because that is going to be awesome.
Yeah, that at least should be good.
Okay, I'm taking this off. This is uncomfortable. Here, you wear it.
Yeah,
if you
try
can.
this. Where's even supposed to go?
Oh my god.
Weird.
This thing is so big.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we saw Chappie, and...
This is actually somewhat relevant.
and Chappie is... where do we even begin on this? Okay, it's RoboCop mixed with Short Circuit.
Yeah, and if that sounds like a dumb idea, that's because it kind of was.
I mean, the nascent childlike AI thing is like half the movie, and the gritty street crime urban combat thing from RoboCop is the other half, and they really don't mix that well.
Yeah,
like, and
it's annoying.
Individually, I wouldn't even say they were that good. Like the childlike robot thing was actually good.
Yeah, I mean that was actually pretty good.
But the urban combat RoboCop stuff didn't work nearly as well.
No, it just didn't.
So Hugh Jackman's in it.
Yeah.
Being very Australian.
Yeah, he carries around a rugby ball.
And wears short shorts.
Yeah.
How's this lean back?
There's a switch on the inside.
Okay, I think we're sufficiently relaxed to discuss this.
Need to be for this thing.
Okay. You saw District 9?
No.
Elysium?
No.
Okay, so this is your first Neil Blomkamp movie. Neil Blomkamp is an African director, and so far he's made 3 noteworthy movies. I don't know if he's made any others, but these are the 3 people know about, which are pretty blatant, and District 9 involves aliens landing on Earth and being, like, confined to a ghetto. And it's pretty blatantly about the black-white segregation going on in South Africa.
Okay.
It's pretty damn blatant. Like, there's no subtlety about it.
Okay.
And then Elysium is about all the rich people pimped off to their space station with their life-saving medical care, and then forced all the poor people left on Earth to make robots that police them from escaping to the life-saving medical devices in space. Mexicans fleeing to the United States for better health care, hint hint.
Okay.
Okay, so his movies are message movies, and they're not subtle, but they're also not like beat you over the head with it. It's just that the metaphor is clear.
Okay.
If that's your problem with Neil Blomkamp, the message mongering in this one is even more subtle. So, like, you could, like, make things about how Chappie is discriminated against, but really you wouldn't. Like,
yeah, I mean...
You wouldn't think it. It doesn't leap to mind. No message mongering leaps to mind in this movie.
Yeah.
So that's a positive.
One of them.
Good CGI.
Yeah, I think the CG was really well done. It was...
excellent motion capture on Chappie.
Yeah, it was, you know... I'm not going to say it was perfectly seamless, but it was pretty close.
The only time it really jumped out at me was that time the girl put her hand on Chappie right over the knife that was strapped to his chest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hello?
There's a deadly blade there. You might want to watch that.
And I feel that was just like something that couldn't have been avoided. Like, the animators had put it there earlier.
And just forgot to take it out.
No, I'm sure they noticed it. It's like, shit, she put her hand on the motion capture suit right there. We put a knife right there.
Just keep going. Maybe they won't notice.
Oh, we noticed. We noticed a lot of things.
Yeah.
The science.
See, the main problem with this is, if you know how computers work, this movie will irritate you to no end.
Even if you really don't... Even if you're not, like, big into programming and mostly just use the internet, basic computer knowledge will be like, pardon?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure older audiences will be able to just turn off their part of their brain that says no and just go with it.
But we can't.
We couldn't.
No.
We wanted to. We wanted to not be nitpicking the science.
Yeah.
But it was pretty consistently annoying.
Yeah, it was highly irritating.
Okay. The biggest problem with this movie are those goddamn rapper gangsters he hung
Yeah, that.
Okay.
Like,
if you've seen the previews, there's like that one girl who looks albino. She's all blonde and really white. Okay, her and another guy are a rap group in South Africa. They're famous. I don't know this. Other people have looked this up and informed me.
Okay.
And they're pretty big characters in this movie.
Yeah, like you spend most of the movie with them, and you hate them.
And it's not like an all-consuming hate, it's just they're not pleasant people to spend most of the movie with. If they were more side characters... America's a good example. America was like the third member. I don't think he was a rapper. I think they just needed like a third member of the gang. He was a gangster. He wasn't a particularly nice guy. He shot people, and he was all, like, dumb and stuff, but... he wasn't in the movie that much.
Yeah, and when he was there, he actually served a purpose.
Yeah, he was an okay guy.
He didn't grate as much as the other two.
Yeah, and the blonde girl is like, okay, she's fine, but that's because she's been given the nurturing mother shtick.
Yeah, whereas the other guy was just
be as ghetto as possible, Chappie, because I need you, Chappie, the indestructible robot, to help me pull off a heist.
Yeah, and it was like,
which. I see why he would do that.
Yeah, I mean,
none of
understandable.
Not a lot of the actions didn't make sense. It was just sort of a, oh come on, director, that's going to annoy people. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because it did annoy us.
And the rapper himself just irritated me to no end because he had small flashes of intelligence, but most of it was just him being an idiot. And
he was a very human idiot. Like,
yeah.
Hugh Jackman made no sense. Like, whatever the hell Hugh Jackman was doing, his character made no goddamn sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's one point where my brother, who was with us, shouted out, "What is his motivation?" Because we couldn't figure it out.
Not based on the actions he was taking. Like, he designs the Ed 209 of this movie. The big tripod-looking motherfucker with, like... And he designs it for urban pacification. It's got cluster bombs and miniguns. And, like, a giant claw.
Yeah, like, this is very clearly a military weapon.
And he's trying to sell it to the police, and he's all offended that they don't want it.
Yeah. And the whole time we're sitting
there... and it flies!
Yes, and it flies.
Of all the things that this thing could do, Ed 209 with jetpacks. And I'm like, no!
It's like, okay.
No wonder his boss told him to cut the budget.
Yeah, I mean, you could sell that to... any of a dozen countries.
To the military, and they'd be like, yes, please.
And you'd be set for life.
But no, you try and sell it to the police force, he tries to sell it, you can take down aircraft, and the police are like, aircraft? What you think they have planes? We're taking down gangsters and street thugs.
Yeah, they made the comment that it's gonna need to be a lot worse before we think about this thing.
And that somehow translates to him turning off all the Chappie police robots and sending the city into a lawless gang spiral.
Yeah,
he causes anarchy to get the cops to buy his military weapons.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
Oh, and he pulls a gun on his coworker in the cubicle farm.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't loaded, and he, like, tries to pass it off as a joke, but I'm like, no, that's not funny.
Yeah, that's not something you do in an office environment.
Sigourney Weaver's in this,
Not that
and
much.
That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, she's
Sigourney Weaver's in it.
Yeah, she doesn't show up that much. She's mainly there to drive certain plot points.
I mean, she runs the company. Oh, and the Indian guy comes to her and is like, I've developed a robot. he developed consciousness.dat.
Yeah.
File name consciousness.dat.
The file names are another thing in this that just drove us nuts.
It was, we laughed at that. It's like, yes, my consciousness program is compiled. What shall I name it? Consciousness.data.
Oh, God.
Computer harder! Computer harder!
Yeah, I mean, like, and the scene where he's doing that, he's like, you know, pulling an all-nighter, and like
With Red Bull.
you can clearly tell that they're trying to make it like exciting and tense, but it's hard to do that
With computer thingies. Like, go back and watch any 90s movie about hackers, and the hackers are like, hack harder! Hack harder! Like, what is it? There's like this one scene from like some cop drama serial where, oh no, we need to hack faster. I'll take this half of the keyboard, you take that half.
Oh, I remember hearing about that.
I've seen it. It's so fucking stupid. But, okay, so yeah, that was just like a minor nitpick. It just struck out. So he creates it, and he goes to his boss, who makes police robots, and says, I've created a program that can give robots emotions and let them appreciate poetry. And Sigourney Weaver very rightly says, we make police robots. And you're trying to sell me a robot that can make poetry.
Yeah, so like that was logical, you know. That was a dumb idea.
I mean, she should have been. I mean, maybe she could have been a little more interested in the fact that he made consciousness, but I don't blame her for not being amazed. That wasn't their business.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and that's when he gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
By the gangsters.
Yeah, but of course, you know, he decides to just go ahead and do it anyway, taking the droid that had just been written off to be scrapped.
Because, and this is a plot point later, its battery case had fused into the chassis. It took an RPG to the chest, so, like, the explode... Like, these robots are really tough. Like, normal bullets do basically nothing to them.
Right.
But, RPG to the chest, that knocks them out.
Yeah.
And it fused the battery case, so, like, the robot, you can't take the battery out and recharge it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got, like, one charge on it, and that's not useful, so scrap it.
Yeah, and I just thought it was funny how, before they sent him on that mission, they were talking about, every time he comes in here, he's wrecked, we gotta rebuild him.
Or number 22.
Yeah.
No real idea how they settled on the name Chappie. It just kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah, it was, She said something about happy chap, and that became Chappie.
Yeah.
It was just like,
I mean, Johnny Five made sense, because
Yeah.
Johnny Five had been watching a lot of old television.
Right.
Number 5 is alive.
Yeah, like that was, you know, that one made sense.
We're talking about an 80s comedy featuring the guy from Police Academy where a robot gets a soul from being hit by lightning, making more sense than this movie.
Yeah, and see, I actually really like Short Circuit, so.
Short Circuit too. Yeah, okay, it's clear that this director really liked Short Circuit, because, like, in the second movie, there's a whole scene where, like, Johnny Five gets picked up by, like, a gang of street thugs and gets...
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, so that turned into half of a movie. Like, take that little scene, which was kind of funny, and make it half of a movie.
Yeah, and it doesn't work.
Oh, and the scene where Johnny Five gets the shit beaten out of him in the second one. Like, that was... Like, they did that scene, oh boy. That was scary.
Yeah, this movie had a tendency to...
Go
like,
from annoying to really good without warning.
and then just get really brutal at a moment's notice.
Yeah,
it's like, holy crap!
The brutality of RoboCop, that's the main... Like, apart from Ed 209 and the Robot Cops, it's really the brutality that really, like... Like, I just watched the rebooted RoboCop, as I call it, Rebooticop.
Ha
Ha! It's PG-13, and they gave RoboCop a stun gun. Like, he has a normal gun, too, but, like, it's just...
Okay.
It's bloodless, it's like...
So it's alive, you're coming with me.
Yeah. Dead or... He never says that. Never says that. It's
Okay.
just... It's... Taking the gore out of it could have worked, but then why call it RoboCop?
Yeah, just do something else, like this.
Yeah, like, The Total Recall reboot, I think would have been a lot better if they just hadn't called it Total Recall.
Yeah, see, I didn't see that.
I did, and you know what? It's not that good, but it had some good ideas. It's just that all its good ideas had nothing to do with Total Recall.
So they tied themselves too hard to the original.
Yeah.
And okay.
Unlike Rebooticop, which I feel like had like one good idea that they did nothing with, and the rest of it was all ripped off from I didn't like it. But anyway, I bring it up because Rebooticop did like no gore, and this movie has gore.
Yeah, like the end when the giant, fuck off
Flying Ed 209.
Yeah, when that one's when he unleashes that thing to stop Chappie, it gets brutal.
Yeah.
Like,
guys getting cut in half.
Yeah.
Riddle full of bullets.
Yeah, it gets ridiculous.
Oh, Sony product placement all over the place.
Oh yeah, everywhere. Like they steal a bunch of cars using the robot. Then go sell them to this guy for explosives.
So that they can go steal so they can rob a money truck.
Yeah.
So stealing upward.
Yeah. And then, while he's there, the rapper says, I'll take some of those too. And
he gets like 8 PS4s.
Yeah, he has a stack of PS4s behind him and they just take the lot. And we're sitting there like, okay, there are things you could do with those PS4s, but you don't know how to do that.
Chappie does, though, apparently.
And then Chappie does exactly that. He makes a PS4 cluster to
make a supercomputer that he has to fan cool with like an oscillating fan.
Yeah, he had like a fan on the other side.
And everyone used Bio laptops or Vio.
Yeah, Vio was everywhere.
Sony, I know your movie company isn't doing so well, but product placing the products no one actually wants is not the solution.
I mean, like the PS4 I get, but Vios just
no one wants those. The solution to the Vio problem is not product placement; it's make a better one.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chappie how was Chappie as a character to you?
I mean, I felt like he was a decent character. He just suffered because he was having to, I didn't like how they had him keep going back and forth from the gangster to the innocent kid.
Yeah.
Like, that bugged me, but I feel like there was...
And it's not like it wasn't, like, it didn't make sense that he would be torn, because he was raised by gangsters.
Right, so the going back and forth made sense, in the movie. It just... I don't know, it didn't... I don't know.
Watching him learn stuff and have realizations of stuff was interesting. I really did like the part where he questions why his maker, the Indian guy, would put him in a body that will die in 5 days. Like, that really bothers him.
Yeah, and that was actually a genuine moment that, I thought was handled pretty well.
There wasn't a lot to his character, I feel.
No, there really wasn't.
Like... It's got all the stuff, like, okay, say what you want about Johnny Five, but Johnny Five had a personality.
Yes.
Pop culture spewing stuff, but
it was there.
It was a personality. It's like, one of my favorite moments is when he's falling out of the window in the second movie, and he's like, 200 meters per second, unacceptable. He's like, this is way too fast, cannot fall this fast. I don't know, I mean, he's enjoyable enough.
Yeah, I mean...
the nascent AI thing is a really solid thing to build a movie around.
Yeah, and if done right, it can be really good. It just, this time, they kind of... They seemed like they were trying to do too much. Like, they were running, 3 different plot lines, and sometimes you would almost forget about one because they hadn't talked about it.
I distinctly remember being like, oh yeah, I almost forgot about Hugh Jackman's plot line.
Yeah.
Because they've been away from it for so long.
Because you've got, the 3 gangsters that have to pay back this...
other gangster with a solid gold gun, because that's practical.
They have to pay him $20 million, so that's the whole reason
they want Chappie to help them run this heist.
Yeah. You've got Chappie's creator trying to run this test and see if this
is... Create life.
Yeah, see if this is possible.
And then on the side, you've got Hugh Jackman trying to get his moose, which is what he names his Ed 209 thing, to get off the ground. And his solution to that problem is, as we've stated, cause anarchy in the streets.
Yeah.
There's not a solution. That's more like evil villain James Bond shit.
Yeah, it's like...
It was out of place.
Yeah.
It was especially weird because it's stated many times that Hugh Jackman's character was in the military.
Yeah.
So,
the military
why did you not design this for the military?
We kept saying that over and over again. Why are you not going to the military with this? Because they would buy it and set him up for life.
And, you know, from a military standpoint, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that thing would, you know, you would only need maybe 5 of them.
And hell, and hell, unlike the Chappie robots, the Moose thing is human controlled. So it's basically a drone. Like,
yeah.
Legitimately, his Moose thing is within our technology right now, except for the flying.
Yeah.
Except for the jetpack. We could totally make that thing.
Yeah.
This movie's set in 2016. It's so close!
Yeah.
Johannesburg is not happy with Neil Blomkamp.
I would imagine not.
He is not, like, I don't think Elysium was set in Johannesburg, but District 9 was set in Johannesburg.
So he's just like...
He's a very one-note director with a lot of really cool sci-fi ideas.
Okay.
Yeah, Elysium just had all sorts of cool shit. It was not... District 9 would probably be the one I would suggest you see. Because it's got, like, a really strong, like, central narrative about, like, these aliens trying to get home, but their stupid ship ran out of gas, which is a problem.
Just a bit.
But, Elysium just kind of was all over the place. It was a decent enough action movie.
Oh, like this one was all over the place.
Yeah, and it was also, like, right at the end, it becomes a really gritty and surprisingly good action movie.
Yeah.
It just took forever to get there, because a lot of it was being spent in pastel gangster playland.
Yeah, just and
this was our big thing with them.
God.
They had color-coded guns.
Yeah, they had color-coded guns. They were basically living in this
ghetto Pee-wee's Playhouse.
It was like a parking garage and an abandoned building.
Yeah, it was like an abandoned warehouse.
Yeah, it's like an abandoned warehouse with a parking garage attached to it. And there's like pastels everywhere. There's writing on all the walls. It's disorganized as all get out. It just looks terrible.
Like, what was it? For target practice, they had him shoot or throw ninja stars at painted bottles. I'm like, why did you have pastel pink, green, and yellow bottles just lying around?
Yeah, it irritated me.
Like, I guess if it was the blonde girl's thing, because it did seem like that was mostly her thing, and she was the chief guy's girlfriend, but...
But why? Okay, but why would he allow that to extend to his gun?
Yeah, his gun was like
pastel
bright
yellow. Yeah.
It was weird. I
Yeah.
couldn't figure it.
There was one kind of funny moment where, you know, everyone's asleep and Chappie turns on the TV and He-Man starts up. And honestly, at that point, I thought they were going to go where, you know, that was going to be a big thing at some point.
Yeah, but then it wasn't.
But then they didn't do anything with it.
Because there was stuff I really liked in this movie, but it's kind of outnumbered by the stuff that either annoyed me or just flat out didn't work.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to say the gangster stuff didn't work, except for that color scheme thing. But it was annoying. And the technology stuff, it narratively worked, but it technologically pissed me off.
Yeah,
The only thing that I would say really, like, completely didn't work was the bad guy Hugh Jackman's plot. Like, that just didn't make sense.
Yeah, that was not something a logical human would do.
It's like, so of the 3 plot lines, 2 of them have problems, but narratively work, and the other one is just a mess.
Yeah. And of course, one of the driving points of the movie is that, you know, Chappie's battery is going to die. So
okay, so we're getting into spoiler territory here.
Yeah.
Our recommendation is Netflix it if you're really, like, or red box it. I mean, I can see spending a couple bucks on this movie if you're really into sci-fi stuff, because there is good sci-fi and action here.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff there.
This is worth seeing to see if you'll like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a hardcore programmer, this movie will piss you off. But I mean, I would say at least, you know,
give it a try.
Yes, see it at some point, whether it comes on cable, Redbox, Netflix, or whatever. You know,
it's certainly worth seeing, because I can totally understand people who would really like this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's people that would really enjoy this. You know,
it did not work for us.
Yeah,
it really didn't. You made the comparison to Edge of Tomorrow, and I don't think that's a really fair comparison.
Yeah, well, and thinking about it, I realized where, you know, that falls apart, because, like you said, Edge of Tomorrow was consistently good until it stopped being good.
Yeah, and that ending, which just screwed the pooch.
Yeah, whereas this one was just
up and down,
all over the place.
Okay, but so getting into the end.
Yeah, so Chappie's battery is dying because of the whole thing of it being fused to his chassis.
So he makes the point, well, why don't you just put me in this other robot? Well, why don't you just move my consciousness into this other robot? And his creator, pretty offhandedly, is just like, no, that won't work. It's like, you don't know that!
Yeah, I mean, until 3 days ago, you didn't even know he was possible.
Yeah, so I'm like, I feel like this is worth trying.
So, when they get all the PS4s from the guy, you know, Chappie hooks him up into a cluster.
And they took him, like, to the factory, and he, like, stole, like, a neural helmet.
Yeah, the helmet that was designed to control the moose, he stole and hooked it up to his cluster and a Vio laptop.
Oh, after scanning the internet to understand how to do programming.
Yeah. And he connected to the internet by looking at the router.
You know, I get that Chappie has consciousness, so he's probably got a lot of storage. Mm. But I feel like downloading the internet, there's a limit to how much data he can hold.
Yeah,
and I imagine a lot of it is being taken up by consciousness.
Yeah. So that was a little bit stretching it.
But whatever.
So he takes the helmet, and he starts doing... He's
fiddling with it. He wants to move his consciousness from his current chassis to another chassis. And this is where I really got pissed, because the neural helmet he was using was designed to read human brain waves.
Yeah.
Reading human electrochemical signals is entirely different from reading computer circuits.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah. So, there's that. So, he puts the helmet on and keeps tinkering with it. And it keeps saying that it, you know, failed to load, failed to load, failed to load. And then he does it and it starts to overheat, which is when we see the fans.
But it works!
Yeah, and it finally works, and it pops up on the screen. He's like, "That's me!" And it's just like a blur of, you know, symbols and lights.
But okay, so he uploaded his consciousness to an external file. Now he just needs to get it on a robot body, which he didn't have.
Yeah.
And this is about the time Moose shows up.
No, this was a little bit before that, wasn't it?
No, this after he did that, they went on the heist.
Yeah, they went on the heist and started stealing the money.
They did that by tricking Chappie into thinking that hitting people with throwing stars makes them go sleepy.
Yeah. And...
because he wasn't supposed to hurt people.
Right, and they convinced him that by getting that money, he would be able to get a new body and, you know, get out of the one that was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So they do the heist. And
and this is after the city's gone to hell because all the other robots have been turned off by one of the employees of the company that made the robots, deactivating them all, so his precious robot can save them from total fucking anarchy.
Yeah. And now the gangster that they owe all this money to sees them stealing the money.
They're like, holy shit, is that a police robot stealing money?
So he's like, I want that robot. So he hauls, you know, he gathers his, you know, crew to go, you know, after them to get the robot.
They show up, and then Moose shows up, and then everyone starts dying.
Yeah, he just starts taking people out.
Except for the lead guy that we hated the most. He doesn't die.
Like there was a moment where he tries to lead the Moose off while Chappie and the girl escape.
He's doing the sacrificial save yourself thing.
And he's sitting there shooting at it, drawing attention to himself, and I'm like, you know what? He's gonna die, and I don't care. I'm okay with this. And then he doesn't.
Then he doesn't die, and then blonde girl gets shot, and I was like, oh man, I actually kind of liked her.
Did we have to?
So, and the Indian guy is shot.
Yeah, and
he's not dead. He's just shot.
Yeah, he gets shot. And the rapper takes out the main gangster that they owed the money to with a shovel.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about
brutally, actually. Like they don't show it. Like they show him.
But he's got he's got it like turned sideways, so it's like a blade and just like swings down.
And they don't show it because they're showing the creator getting shot. But still, it's like damn.
Yeah, I forgot that he got shovel chopped. I thought he got away scot-free, and that was a lingering plot thread.
No, that was pretty well nipped in the bud.
So the Chappie and his creator, I don't even remember his name. He was not.
Dion.
He was not an interesting character at all.
Yeah, they really needed to give him more character instead of just being,
upset that his creation is being raised by gangsters.
Yeah.
Which is a reasonable problem.
Yeah.
But there just wasn't much to him.
No, but so he, Chappie gets this idea of, hey, if I can put my consciousness in the computer, why can't I do it with his?
Which at least makes more sense from the point of view of the helmet reading his consciousness.
Yes, so he goes to grab the helmet that he stole, but
it gets shot.
It gets shot because the moose is shooting through the walls at him.
So they have to drive over to the robot building place, which has very bad security, I might add.
Yeah, okay, this guy was, well within the bounds of being fired, and his card still worked all the way up to the end.
Yeah.
Like, his card should have been shut off halfway through.
Hell, forget fired. He should have gone to jail for stealing company property or
that too. So they go back to the factory, having destroyed the moose because of a grenade attached to a knife that he just kind of stuck into it and hit the button.
Doesn't seem like that would work, considering it took explosive rounds to the face and kept going.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was in a prime spot for it. I don't know, but it destroyed it. So Hugh Jackman takes off the helmet. He's like, "Holy fuck!"
They destroyed my moose.
So they show up.
They blew my moose.
And Chappie goes after Hugh Jackman because.
Oh God, that scene.
Well, and
there's the earlier scene where Hugh Jackman literally takes a saw to Chappie's arm.
Yeah, and just cuts his arm off.
It's like it was intense and ugh.
Yeah, it was one of those times where it got brutal without warning.
And effective.
And this time it did it again, except he was on the receiving end.
Yeah,
because
he gets
the first thing Chappie does is he sees the guy running upstairs.
Evil Van Man.
So he grabs a huge wrench and just chucks it at him. And of course, since he's a robot, he is deadly accurate with it.
And hits him right in the leg.
Nails the guy. And the guy
chases him through the office.
And then he just beats the hell out of him. I mean,
oh, God.
Throws him through windows, throws him into walls.
While doing gangster posturing, but he's still freaking out.
Throws him into the ceiling.
And he didn't die, but oh my God.
Yeah,
he broke his arm.
And the whole time this guy's trying to shoot him, and it's like, dude, you know that doesn't work.
You know he's I think I bruised my head. How did I do that? Yeah, right here I've got a bruise. How did I do that?
I don't know, you weren't really facepalming that much during this movie.
So, he transfers his creator's, his maker's consciousness into a test robot.
Yeah.
And his maker's like, holy shit, I'm in a robot body! And he sounds like himself. And I'm like, I don't think the robot's voice box should be able to do that, but whatever.
It's like, that's small potatoes compared to the crap.
To all the, Chappie consciousness.dat.
Yeah. So he transfers his creator into a robot, and then they're like, well, we need to find you a robot. And they're like, wait, there's hundreds of them spread throughout the city. Let's just find one of those.
And they do that.
And he uploads ChappieConsciousness.dat to the other robot.
And they just kind of sneak off, even though his creator's in a bright orange crash test style dummy robot.
Yeah.
And should probably draw a little attention, especially considering they're all turned off.
Yeah.
So they go back to the gangster's place, and gang leader's having like a Viking funeral pyre for blonde girl.
And he's like throwing all the pictures of her into the fire, and it's like, okay, sure.
Whatever, but then he finds in like a shoebox with a doll that looked exactly like her to like a creepy degree.
Yeah, like earlier in the movie, Chappie had this box, and he had a doll that looked like the girl.
Like a lot, like wearing the same clothes,
yeah, same hairstyle and everything. It was weird.
I can't help but think maybe that's like a legitimate product.
It might be. I mean, if they're famous rappers, it might be.
Oh God.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But anyway,
in the box,
he sees the doll, and then there's a flash drive that we have not yet seen to this point.
and they do like a flashback thing and showing Chappie uploading Mommy's consciousness into like the machine.
Yeah.
Like it was a test.
Yeah, and it says Mommy consciousness backup test, and we're like, no.
First of all, consciousness is terabytes of data. The programmer was like, oh, I'm going to have to run through several terabytes of compiling. And I'm like, okay. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But,
so we're like, they're not.
Yeah, so not only do they have Mommy's consciousness data saved, which, you know what, that's dumb, but I would have gone with it.
Mm-hmm.
Had they not then chosen to upload her into a specially designed female human face robot.
Yeah.
That they designed specifically.
Yeah, like they do the whole barrel thing with her.
They somehow hack into the robot industry and no explanation of how they're doing that.
Yeah, because of course, this laptop should not be able to access those servers.
Not anymore.
This guy's credentials should not work. Those servers should be shut down because they established that the entire company is basically defunct now. Or like the robots are completely not used anymore.
Yeah.
So there should be no reason this plant is able to be operational. Chappie just hacks in, uploads a schematic, and makes a new robot and puts her into it.
Gives it eyelashes and human eyes.
It's like, oh,
clearly
God.
that was the thing that robot company had on hand.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't take months of designing and fabricating to make eyeballs. No, it's just one.
That part was that was probably the worst one. Was the robot at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Chappie.
That's Chappie. We were very frustrated by it.
Yeah, it knowing how computers work.
We didn't want to hate it.
No, it's like the whole time we're thinking, this could be a good movie, but it's irritating.
At least not to us. I mean, if you can shut your brain off and enjoy it on an emotional level, it's better, but I still wouldn't say it's perfect, because still, the Hugh Jackman thing just makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah, it comes... I mean, like, you kind of know parts of it are coming, but it still comes out of left field. And it just...
So, that's Chappie. Let's talk about the previews. Okay. For some reason, we got a preview for Unfinished Business, even though that's already out.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, utterly terrible.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything or seen it, but...
By all accounts, it's awful. Then we got the Fantastic trailer again. Do you have anything to say about that? Because I've already talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, are we really going to do this again? Like, this did not work out that well the last time.
New actors, though. New script. New director.
No, just, as I said in the theater, I cannot care about this movie.
It's probably... They haven't barely released anything about it. They've been really quiet considering it comes out in like a month.
Well, they're afraid. As they should be.
Then it was Entourage.
Which,
What was that about?
that was... Oh, that was the one where they're like making a movie.
Oh, yeah! Bro dudes in Hollywood fucking chicks and trying to make a movie.
Yeah. Dude bros.
Dude bros.
Dude
bro
bros.
dudes. Dude bros.
Yeah.
It looked horrible.
Yeah, it
looked horrible.
It looks terrible.
I mean, I guess if you liked, You know what? Even if you liked The Hangover, I wouldn't suggest it.
I haven't seen The Hangover.
I don't know. It looked awful. It looked like it was full of stupid characters doing stupid things.
Yeah, it looked terrible. I mean, like, there was one funny line in the trailer, and that was it.
Then we got Get Hard, the Will Ferrell, Kevin Hart movie.
Yeah. Which looks like it has the potential to be somewhat amusing.
It was at least a funny preview, but
Yeah.
I don't think that the concept of Will Ferrell's going to go to maximum security for white-collar crimes, which isn't really a thing, but whatever. And as a black person, I did like that they made that point. Kevin Hart is asked by this guy to teach him how to be a thug and not get, wrecked in prison because clearly you've been to prison. And Kevin Hart is like, he thinks I've been to prison. He's talking to his wife. He thinks I've been to jail. But he's going to pay me $50,000 to, teach him how to not get his ass kicked in jail. So whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just be every stereotype he thinks I am. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of clever.
Yeah, that actually was, like I said, it has the potential to be amusing. It just,
It's probably not going to be.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. I think, was that the last one?
No, we had Jurassic World.
Oh, right, Jurassic World, which, I mean, we've seen a lot about it.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's Jurassic Park plus Chris Pratt.
Plus Velociraptors, attack Velociraptors.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
It looks good. I'm excited for it. And that's all we got. I wish I could have enjoyed this more.
Yeah, it's another one of those that had some potential and did some things right, but it just
didn't come together.
Yeah,
it didn't come together for us.
Yeah, it didn't have a lot of cohesion. It didn't have.
It's certainly not one of the if someone told me they enjoyed Robotocop, I would smack them and force them to watch the original RoboCop. I'd be like, you cannot tell me that this is superior to this.
Right. This is somewhat enjoyable.
And if you enjoy it, power to you. I wish I could have.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing so wrong about this that you liking it can be considered wrong. When people tell me they liked Let's Be Cops, I'm just like, no, you can't like that movie. It's not a funny comedy.
Yeah, see, this one comes down to personal preference, which, me personally, I know too much about computers to like this one.
Yeah, and we couldn't. We couldn't do it. So, thank you for joining us. I don't know when we'll see you again.
No, I can't just pop in and out.
I'll probably be back next week with Christina for Cinderella. Bye.